my goodness. Welcome to the Chrissie Mayr podcast. Yes.
Thank you so much for having me on.
Late,
I apologize for the incredibly rude delay. We had some technical difficulties thanks to Rommel.
We're not, we're doing Black people time tonight. It's fine. And you guys are here.
That's
you
great.
guys need a few minutes to get a drink, go to the bathroom. It's really a gift, if anything. Hello, welcome. Tonight we're using Rumble Studio. Oh my gosh, check it out. I'm not sure if you guys are listening on Rumble or YouTube, but like and subscribe. Throw us a question. I'm very excited for our guest tonight.
Who
very,
made
very
this
excited.
incredible
We have
intro
so
for
much in
you?
common. We are both natural blondes. We are both German. We have both been accused of being QAnon supporters. We have both been accused of being white
great.
supremacists. Like the list goes on and on. I'm so excited to hear all about her story. And I'm just so excited she's here tonight. Welcome to the show, Naomi Seibt. Oh my gosh. Hi, am I pronouncing your last name right? I've been thinking about this all week.
Seibt.
Seibt.
Basically, for Americans, imagine Ziped. That's how you pronounce it.
Seibt, like a Z.
Yes, correct.
Okay, I love that. My dad is from, I think he was born in either Holzkirchen or this long city that starts with an O. I think it's Almergaumen. I'm obviously butchering
No
it.
idea. There's so many very niche cities in Germany.
Oh.
I'm not familiar with all of them.
Yeah, he's from a niche. I don't know.
Those are the best. Those are the ones where actual Germans still live. You wouldn't want to go to Berlin, trust me.
Really? When I think of
Berlin's
Berlin
awful.
or even Munich,
most Germans agree that we don't actually claim Berlin. Berlin is for the crazies.
Wow. When I think of Berlin or even like Munich, I just think of a lot of like fetish guys in assless chaps and like
Munich.
I don't know.
Munich
why
is actually pretty nice. I think Munich is still stellar. I recommend Munich, but not Berlin. They're like polar opposites. Because generally in Bavaria, there's still a very strong Christian culture. For example, I think it's mandatory to have a cross, crucifix anywhere where you have any major events. So that's
I love
still
that.
at least a little bit of German heritage being represented there.
I really love
Whereas
that.
in the rest of the country, even if you just hoist a German flag, represent the German flag in some way, worship the German flag, God forbid, you may be investigated or even arrested by the police.
That is so similar to here. You're not in Germany right now. You're in the United States, but like I'm sure you're aware that's the general consensus here too. Like a lot of left-leaning people considered displaying the American flag to be that means you're a right-winger. Like to be a patriot at all is. I never thought I would live to see the day where being a patriot and displaying the American flag would mean you're some sort of extremist. It's so bizarre to me. That loving
that's why I'm so passionate about talking about American politics as well, because that's what I know from growing up in Germany. I was raised to think that we were the bad guys, right? Because of historic guilt, obviously. And now then seeing this exact same mentality rise in America made me very concerned, because America is, in my opinion, the greatest country in the world politically. You have the best political foundation, and this must not change. Because that's the last hope for the entire West, in my opinion. And I know that a lot of the globalist ideology did come from America, and that's why, to be quite frank, a lot of Germans do have some sort of resentment against America, because we have been taught that it's Americans who put us in the position that we're in right now. But I would disagree with that, because now finally that we get to connect with each other from Germany and from America, we actually see that we have more in common. And it's not the American people that did us dirty. It's a globalist elite that is way above any country. You cannot blame it on the Americans.
And almost even at times it seems above the presidency, like these folks.
Absolutely. Yeah. The president is not the one who's in charge. Saying that the president is the most powerful person in the world that's just bread and circuses, as we like to say.
It's whoever the mob is. Yeah, it's whoever's in the gang at the time. And
Yeah.
they have a job no matter who's in office. So that's a little bit of a black pill, but we're gonna keep it light. Okay, I know. Let's see. I'm trying to get a sense of I don't wanna ask you about, like, your climate because I feel like I'm trying not to ask you questions you've been asked about, like, 100,000,000 times, but if you wanna give a little bit a sense of your, like, origin story, I know you've been doing content creation or at least on YouTube since, like, about 2019 or so, and you were originally branded as, like, the anti-Greta Thunberg. Can you tell us a little bit, like, your early beginnings?
Yeah, of course. So I was actually raised in a very liberal environment in Germany, but more the, let's say, intellectual, elitist, liberal environment. I was raised in a more sophisticated, better school, but still the entire sentiment was very strongly liberal. My hometown is Münster, which is known to be one of the most liberal towns where
Like the
Antifa is
cheese?
highly represented. So, huh?
Munster like the cheese?
Yes, exactly, exactly like the cheese,
Oh,
and I looked it up one time,
I
it's not
love that
actually from my
cheese.
town, so I don't know, I think the Münster cheese actually comes from a French region, so there's some mix up there, but yeah. I wasn't even familiar with the Münster cheese before I came here, but yeah, it's called just like the cheese, Münster. Um, yeah, so a very liberal town, and my mom didn't even vote for a right wing party. We had a very strongly right wing party when I grew up that was called the um, N- NPD. Yeah, so they were like the new NSDAP, and there was some controversy around whether or not they should be banned. But that was like a openly far right radical party. The AfD didn't exist when I was growing up, and my family they were CDU voters, which is the Angela Merkel party, which is actually not left leaning. They are actually supposedly the conservatives in Germany, which is crazy looking back because we know how far leftist, radical, and pro green policies, anti nuclear power Angela Merkel went. My hypothesis, which is actually backed by a lot of evidence, is that she deliberately hijacked the Conservative Party with her
Mm.
socialist background because she
Wow.
was raised in East Germany under socialism, and she was actually strongly in favor of that tyranny over there. Probably because she got a lot of advantages that nobody else got around her, and there are a lot of conspiracy theories around her role as potentially a Stasi agent. But isn't it odd that she refuses to have her Stasi files disclosed to the public, even though multiple she has been challenged in court on that?
Wow.
And even the German government said it would be disadvantageous to the welfare of the German government to release Angela Merkel's Stasi files. So that's
Wow.
just all very, very strange. Her father was a was a very proud socialist. He's also called the Red Kasna. His name was Kasna. Yeah, and he's often called the Red Kasna because it was so well known that he's a socialist. And
Wow.
her first press secretary was Wolfgang Schnur, who later turned out to be one of the top Stasi agents. And this Wolfgang Schnur was also the best friend of her father. So it's all adding up somehow, but still, we're not allowed to question what
Did she
her
run?
original motives.
Did she run as a socialist? Like, was she the left-leaning candidate or was she, like, the right-leaning candidate, Angela?
So before originally, of course, when she lived under socialism, she kind of had to comply and be in the socialist movement. As many people know, she was studying physics, and she was actually in the socialist youth movement. So like the Hitler Youth, but like for socialism, because she needed to comply in order to get the privileges of like traveling to the West every now and then. So she actually lived a pretty free life considering that she was in the East. She also lived very close to the border, which was only reserved for like Stasi agents and people who
Wow.
were highly regarded by the socialist tyranny. Which means, the sentence, some animals are more equal than others, and she was really very
Yeah.
one of the more equal animals. So she got to travel to the West whenever she wanted. And in her book later, she actually wrote, you can live happily even in the absence of freedom, which is
Oh
very odd
god.
statement to make.
Yeah.
Okay, speak for yourself, lady.
What a
But
bummer.
she never actually had to live without freedom. She got a lot of privileges, a lot of freedom. So there was not much to complain about for her. And then during the reunion of East and West Germany, she moved into the so-called DA, or German Alliance, and they then morphed together with the CDU. The CDU was the supposedly conservative party of the West, and she knew that she would be able to go very very high and rank very positively in that party. She was strongly supported by Helmut Schmidt, and then she was raised to she was kind of groomed into the chancellor position. But her father loved that. Her father, who was a socialist, so she was fully aware of what she was doing. Her entire environment was strongly socialist and working for the socialist government, and somehow she made it into a chancellor position. That's just very odd. And then she destroyed our entire nuclear power, which, considering that she studied physics, should also make you think, why did she do that? She should be aware that nuclear power is actually extremely safe, and also if she's so pro Green New Deal and so against CO2, then you might think that she should be in favor of nuclear power, but for some
Yeah,
reason she
nuclear is
shut it
pretty
all
clean.
down.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so in 2015, she started the mass migration crisis as she refused to close the borders. And some others in her party actually warned about this very scenario months before the election. And they were either completely bullied out of the party by her and the people around her and her advisors, or they mysteriously died.
Oh, man.
So they were probably Hillary Clinton the German way in some way. That's something that I do intend to look into more, or rather make public, because I have been doing a lot of research into this, and there is no way that I could talk about these topics if I hadn't applied for asylum in America. So this is actually one major reason why I did apply for asylum in America, because there is a lot that I know about the background of how Germany ended up in the current position that it's in. And I couldn't disclose all of this if I was still living in Germany, because it would
Right.
be such a major threat to my freedom, potentially even to my life. Because
What
I know that they are keeping an eye on me, and I
Oh,
found out
really? How do you
only a few
know?
months. I found out only a few months ago that I was put under intelligence surveillance in 2020, when I became known as the anti-Greta Thunberg. So I was just 19 years old.
Whoa.
And German intelligence reached out to American intelligence under Joe Biden to find out what kinds of connections I had to the MAGA movement. How do I
Wow.
know this? Because a whistleblower who was an ex-army intelligence guy in America, he's also an ex. He messaged me and he said, "I saw that you became more popular when Elon Musk amplified your profile a lot last year, and I just wanted to reach out to you because that made me realize when I saw your name that I already knew your name, because I was stationed in Germany in 2023, 2024, and your name was over the German intelligence database. And I know that they looked
Whoa.
into your phone messages,
What?
communications with your family,
They can get
and
into
I
your
asked,
phone?
what's safe? Like WhatsApp,
Oy.
Signal,
Okay.
Telegram, which one is safe? And he said, none of them. Because in Germany, the data privacy laws are so atrocious that American intelligence, they actually had to ask for exemptions. And
Whoa.
I thought, okay, maybe he's lying to me, right? Some random guy who claims to be ex-army intelligence. And he could give me details about communications that I had with my family in 2023 that
Oh.
nobody could have known, because it was during a time when I was not in the public politically, because I was literally dying. I was extremely ill for a period of a few years. That's why also when you see pictures of me from like 2020, I am very underweight, and I also had strange inflammation in my face, and that got significantly worse over the years. And so I was off the radar for multiple years. And during that time, when I was fighting for my life, they were reading my messages at taxpayer expense. So this guy, he could tell me exactly what I was doing in 2023, and that I was in a very dire situation with my life and my health.
And this is just from you, like, being against what Greta Thunberg was standing
Exactly.
for, but before
I
you were a
think
public
that's
figure.
not the main reason. It's not the fact that I was against the climate change policies. I mean, yeah, that's kind of a symptom of that. What they were most afraid of were my connections to America,
Wow.
because they knew that Germans have been kind of shielded from American politics for a very long time. And in Germany, the majority of people hate Donald Trump, and they
Wow.
especially did back then, because we have propaganda mainstream media that we pay taxes for. And so when I started becoming known internationally, I was on the front page of the Washington Post, and it was actually a rather fair article. Back then, I didn't know much about the Washington Post, so I just accepted the interview, even though everybody told me, "Do not do it. They
Oh,
will roast you.
no.
They will shred you."
How would you
And
have
I thought, no,
known
I'm
that?
just going to do it because I am not afraid to talk to people who might disagree with me. And I got lucky in a way because I got a rather fair article, because they asked me a lot of scientific questions and I could answer all of them, because
Wow.
I grew up as a science nerd, and I didn't do any of this to be like the poster figure for the right. I just did it out of a love for science, to be honest. So I did answer a lot of their scientific questions about the climate change topic, and so they couldn't drag me entirely in the article. So I was quite fortunate in that. And then I went on Fox News. I went to CPAC in 2020. I gave a speech for the back then for the Heartland Institute, which is like a climate skeptic institute. And then this turned into the media forming all these conspiracy theories about me being paid millions by the Heartland Institute, when in reality, they were just a small think tank that was about to go broke, and I got, I think, $3,000 per month. Plus, that was only for 3 months. And then the German state media authorities wanted to take down my YouTube channel, because they accused me of not disclosing that I was working for the Heartland Institute. But in my contract, it specifically said, you have all the freedoms in the world. Your channel still belongs to you. We will never script anything for you, and you only have to post like a few videos on our YouTube channel, and even those are completely unscripted, because I insisted on that. I'm never going to follow a script. That's just, I don't care how much money you want to give me. I will never follow a script for anything. I will not make any posts to amplify any, I don't know, foreign interests. And so, yeah, those conspiracy theories, they bothered me. And so I decided after 3 months, I'm not going to work with them anymore. Yeah, and then shortly after, the pandemic started. And then in 2020, I actually gave a speech in the German parliament, um, in the so-called Bundestag, about the PCR tests, because once again I was super fascinated with science, so I looked into, oh, how do these PCR tests actually work, and figured out that they are actually extremely not only sensitive but also
Mhm.
very likely to report false outcomes. Not even just because the test is so sensitive, but because the PCR test is obviously formulated to fit a certain virus. You can use a PCR test for any kind of virus. There are many specific types of PCR tests for different kinds of viruses. And so they formulated one for the coronavirus specifically. And this was done overnight.
Mhm.
They hadn't even sequenced the genome of this virus properly yet, which means that they used this test that could pick up on countless different varieties of RNA strands, which means that if you just had a common cold,
Yep.
it would pick up on that and claim that you
Wow.
have COVID. Because
And they used that
it
to their
was
benefit,
done
I'm
so
sure they knew.
sloppily.
Mhm.
But the reason why it was done so sloppily is because the professor, actually a German professor, Professor Christian Drosten, he made a ton of money with it. So that's why he wanted to be the first one to put out this PCR test specifically for the coronavirus. And even the original developer or the discoverer of the PCR method, Karen Mullis, I think, he said that this method should not be used as a diagnostic tool. It's not a test. It's basically just for fun. It's a method to amplify genetic material. So if you swap someone's nose and then you have this genetic material in there, obviously from their snot, you can amplify all these little RNA strands to make them actually visible, because otherwise you just have these tiny strands and you don't see anything. So you amplify them with a PCR method, and then you have a detector, and then you can see how much of that specific material is in somebody's snot. That's basically
Right.
how it works. But he says it's going to amplify anything that you have in that snot.
Wow.
So it's not supposed to be used for diagnostic purposes. You need to diagnose together in combination with symptoms that you pick up on.
Right.
And then we got all these asymptomatic positives. And the
Yep.
original developer of this PCR method, even he said there is no such thing as asymptomatic positive tests. It's
Yeah,
ridiculous.
but,
Yeah.
like, the media ran with it and whipped everybody up into such a fear frenzy, like, "Oh, you could kill your own grandma without even knowing you're sick."
Yeah.
It was just so absurd,
Yeah.
so it's good to know that, like, you as a science nerd were you had alarm bells going off so early in the whole thing.
Yeah.
So,
So
of course,
this
that's gonna
speech
put
that I
you
gave
on
in
their
the
radar.
parliament, yeah, the speech that I gave, it went viral on YouTube, and then YouTube took it down. And then I made YouTube videos myself about the vaccines. And I had not even posted them yet. They were unlisted videos, and YouTube shut down my channel for
What?
unlisted videos.
Oh,
So
man.
they
This
kept
must
an
have
eye on
been
me.
was
They
this
shut me
2020?
down with 3 strikes at once. 2 of them about vaccine videos that were unlisted, and the other one, the third video, was one where I criticized pedophilia in Bollywood, specifically what's her name, Sia, the singer. She had these very strange. She still has them. These music videos that went viral with this little girl. She's now an adult, but she was not an adult back then, and she was always wearing a skin color bathing suit
Oh,
and then
wow.
dancing on screen. And
Right.
then with Shia LaBeouf in one music video, and Shia LaBeouf was wearing a skin colored suit as well, and they were both in a cage dancing around each other.
Oh,
This was a
yeah.
massive
Gross.
video. It was so popular. And then everybody tried to downplay the fact that they were basically a naked man and a naked girl dancing in a cage. And not just dancing, they were actually fighting with each other. And this girl was terrified of the man. That was kind of the point of the whole dance. And so I
Wow.
called it out in a YouTube video, and that's what I got a strike for as well. For, I don't know, hate and bullying. Who am I
Oh,
bullying?
p
Yeah.
yeah, we
So
can't
my
bully
YouTube
grown
channel
men
was,
and grown
yeah. So
women.
my channel was taken down,
And
and
this is
I
2020, Naomi, or 2021?
that was in, yeah, 2021. Yeah.
Okay.
And then I tried to file for an injunction in court to get it back up again very fast. And the court in my hometown rejected it, claiming that there was no urgency. And I said, there is urgency because I'm trying to warn people about these vaccines. They shut it down. So I was not successful in court with that.
Wow.
Like I said, they also tried to shut down my, or like the German media authorities, they tried to put a big fine on me for not disclosing that I was funded by the Heartland Institute, even though it was not true. So I
Mhm.
decided to, yeah, to go to court against them as well, which was a massive mistake on my part. But I was young and naive and didn't quite realize what was going on. Everybody kind of talked me into it and said, this is going to be a massive case. You need to go to court. Yeah, it cost me over 20,000 euros in lawyer fees because I picked like a great law firm that was recommended to me by everybody. And I didn't realize, like, the legal fees were for one document that they wrote, one document,
What?
one legal document. And they didn't give me any, like, they didn't disclose in advance how much it was going to cost me. And I was 20 years old, and I felt so
Oh,
guilty for
no. Yeah.
not knowing what I put myself into. So I scrambled for money with like donations, and then a friend helped me out in the end, with like very reluctantly. He was making enough money, and like I had to invest every penny that I had basically. So I, yeah.
Wow.
Then after all of that, I became deathly ill. So those were the last few years of my life. And then in 2024 was when I finally kind of got back on my feet. I had nothing. Like nothing was left. My connections to America were gone, but I had no money. I had nothing. I was living in a very bad situation. I was also still quite underweight and unhealthy, but I knew I wanted to put myself out there again and just try. And my YouTube channel miraculously got unbanned, probably because now it is legal on YouTube to criticize vaccines.
Mhm.
And
So much
then
has
I
come
started
out
posting on
that
YouTube again.
makes people look, it's ridiculous if you don't believe certain truths at this point that were back
Yeah,
then would get you deplatformed. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. And at the same time, I still had my Twitter account, and Elon had taken over Twitter by that time. And I just decided to keep posting there because I desperately wanted to get my connections to America again, because I knew that the solution to all the problems that we have in Europe, we have to get in touch with America. We have to see internationally that we are all facing the same struggles. Which, if you've been on X recently, then you saw that we got the Japanese algorithm where we discovered that the Japanese are going through exactly the same thing.
Mm,
And this is exactly what I saw early on in like 2019. We need to connect with Americans. We need to connect with the international world, because then we see that we can confront globalism together. And that's the only way out. That's why they put me under intelligence surveillance, because they knew that I was right. That
wow.
I was trying to connect Germany, the German right wing freedom movement, with the American freedom movement, and that we're actually just we the people fighting against globalist elites.
Yep.
And so yeah, so in 2024, I saw that very like totally different topic, but Elon Musk was going against the Brazilian authorities. Maybe some remember that, with the Supreme Court Judge Alexandre de Moraes, and I had a pretty large Brazilian audience for some reason in 2020. So I decided this topic is kind of close to my heart, so I will post an English video about this on X, and I did, and it got a significant amount of views, considering that I had like 70,000 followers back then, which were just left over from my time of being anti-Greta.
Mhm.
And then I was invited on some of Marion Awful's spaces. He had some pretty big spaces in 2024. A space with Jair Bolsonaro, the former president of Brazil.
Yeah. Wow.
One space where Elon Musk was in it too, but he didn't see me in the space. Um, and then I posted about my support for the AfD party. That was during the European elections, EU elections in 2024, and I just posted a selfie where I said, "My name is Naomi Seibt, and I'm voting for the AfD." And that was the first time that Elon Musk picked up on my posts, and he replied under it, "Why is it that every time I mention the AfD, I get so much negative feedback?" That's
Mm,
basically what he said.
wow.
And yeah, so that went viral because the algorithm shifts so much all the time. Back then, replies still had a lot of power, and especially a reply from Elon. And so that went viral, got millions of views, and that was like Germans were freaking out. Wow, Elon Musk, the richest man in the world with Tesla and SpaceX and now XAI, he is paying attention to what's going on in Germany. This is our chance. And then he reached out to me privately on X, and he asked me the same
Ooh.
question again, and asked me about the AfD party. And I knew that he had been keeping his eyes on what the AfD was doing for a longer time. And I think in me, he saw that I was not funded by the AfD. I still have never been funded by the AfD. I'm not in the AfD. Everything I do for the AfD is basically charity work. I don't get anything out of it. But I just explained to him my personal convictions about the AfD and why I do believe that they are a positive, revolutionary, or rather reformative movement in Germany. They want to leave the European Union, and they are more similar to the pro-freedom movement that historically has existed in Germany before the Nazi time, and they are not comparable to the Nazis at all. That's basically what I explained to him.
Hold
And
on, Naomi.
yeah,
Elon Musk DM'd you.
yeah,
And you're
that was
just
insane.
I love how collected and professional you are. But
Oh, I'm
Elon
so
Musk
autistic.
DM'd you. Did you not scream? Did you call your mom? Did you call friends? Or you're like, is this real? Like, what was your first
I was
reaction to this?
I was in a very odd situation, because I was still personally, like I said, I had nothing. I had my phone, and that was it. I was in I had to I couldn't pay rent, so I was living with my mom and my little sister, and she was about to throw me out, and I got a last minute opportunity to go to Rome, because one of my friends, Ian Strong, actually, a lot of people know him, and now there are rumors that we had an affair or something, which is actually not true. But yeah, people love the drama. Um, both of us are very autistic, so
Are
we
you
had a lot
actually
in common,
autistic?
like brain wise, and so he had to escape from Malaysia, and we kind of made a last minute decision to meet in Rome. And I am very grateful that he was able to help me like get an apartment there and live
Mhm.
somewhere. All these like internet drama rumors of like she was banging Elon Musk, she was banging all these people. It's just not true. I'm just a very autistic person, and I got into this entire industry um, with like no intentions of making it of like becoming a fame whore or anything.
Right.
Like I said, when I started as the anti Greta, I was not even attractive, and it didn't matter. It didn't matter, and I looked even worse after that when I was literally deathly ill. There are some pictures of me where I could show them to you, but like I looked like a Holocaust survivor. Like you cannot possibly imagine how bad it was. I weighed 59 pounds. That's
Whoa.
insane. Yeah, and I came from absolutely nothing. I almost died, and I was in the ICU for 2 weeks and in hospital for 8 weeks. I had to learn to walk from scratch again in
Did you
2022.
know what you had exactly?
Yeah, I have like severe gut disease issues, and
Okay.
I didn't catch it for a long time, and so that resulted in me, together with I lost someone who was very close to me in 2021, and then I couldn't eat enough food anymore, and then
Yeah.
over the course of like a year, I lost so much weight, and then I don't know, I felt like I didn't see the sun for at least 6 months. I couldn't even go out anymore.
Wow.
So I'm very lucky I survived. Honestly, I thank God every day for what I have now. I do, because for 4 years, um, every single day I was not happy, and I at some point then in 2024 decided I'll just keep going anyway. I was kind of an
Until
autopilot.
Elon DM'd you, and then you
Yeah,
went
and
forward.
that was a major breaking point in my life. I owe him a lot for kind of reinstating hope in me and kind of seeing that I was worth something. I was doing something right. And then eventually he inspired me to come to America, because I had to leave Rome after 3 months, and then I didn't know what to do after. And Elon basically said that it's getting really dangerous in Europe, and you should consider going to America.
He messaged you
I was like,
this?
yeah. And
Wow.
I was like,
What a
if
nice
he says
guy.
that, it's kind of like that's the sign. I'll do it.
Yeah.
And so I came to America in September of 2024. And that was a great time because it was the election. And funnily enough, I had been a Trump supporter since 2015, which was kind of like that's how I
Wow.
became radicalized since I was in high school.
Wow.
And I actually did a PowerPoint presentation with my in my socialist politics class where I said, "This is
That's
why
so
I think that Donald
cool.
Trump is going to win the election." And I was
That's
right. And
so
so everybody
cool.
said, "That's so stupid. He's never going to win. He's such a stupid
You had
guy."
to have some balls to do that as such a such a young age, in
Yeah,
your
like I said,
class in
autistic. So
Germany.
just I didn't really care anymore about what anybody else thought about me.
Wow.
And
What was
yeah,
the response
I
like
didn't
from
even
your
like
teacher and from your classmates after that presentation?
the thing is because I was known in school as the smart one and the straight A's kid. It was mostly confusing. It was confusing to my teachers and confusing to my classmates because they were taught by our German media that Trump is just an absolute idiot. And so, why is this supposedly smart girl supporting Trump? And yeah, that was just, it didn't add up for them. It was kind of like a weird cognitive dissonance. So,
Mhm.
nobody really tried to confront me on it because then I was here in my English classes. Because in English classes, we had a lot of globalist topics. We had like feminism and I don't know, climate change, because that's what they tried to do in Germany. They push all these globalist topics into our English classes because in
Wow.
English class, you're not supposed to question anything anyway. It doesn't matter. You just have to speak English. So it doesn't really matter. You're not supposed to
Wow.
form an opinion on anything.
Interesting.
And that's how they sneakily put all this propaganda in your head.
That's very
Yeah.
sneaky, and that's really interesting, and that's good to know.
Yeah. And then we had like a lot of mock debates and stuff. And I would always take like the devil's advocate position, which is so funny because I remember in our graduation exam, I had English as one of my main subjects. In the graduation exam, there was there was one question where you have to reply with like a long essay, um, and then you can choose to take on the position of a libertarian, and that's supposed to be the wrong position. And I was like, that's me. Let's go. So I thoroughly enjoyed my graduation exam, actually.
So you
Um,
realized you were leaning libertarian before you even graduated high school. That's pretty cool.
yes, because with the mass migration crisis under Angela Merkel, my mom was the first one to kind of ask questions about it, and she basically asked, "Isn't isn't that kind of ludicrous? Having no controls at the borders, is that that's probably bad for the economy and not particularly safe, because who are the people that are coming in?" And then suddenly she was called racist. I was like,
Of
my
course.
family is not racist. Like, I know that we're against Hitler. I know that we're
Was
not
she
right wing. What
speaking
is
out,
this
like, where was she speaking out? On Facebook, or was she on Twitter as
on
well?
Facebook? Exactly.
Yeah.
Facebook was back then the Twitter of Germany. We didn't have Twitter. Like in Germany, nobody would use Twitter. So Facebook was the big platform, and she was posting about it, and then she got in contact with some other people who shared her views, and she would then, like, sometimes people would send her YouTube videos on topics, and then somebody sent her a video by Stefan Molyneux. Maybe you know him. So
Mhm.
he's this major Canadian modern philosopher guy. His YouTube channel got shut down too, but he was massive in like 2016 to 2020 maybe. And I saw this one video that he did about German mass migration politics. I was like, I'm obsessed with this guy. I love him. I wanna watch all his videos, all his philosophy videos. That was just so interesting to me because he's just extremely smart, and he talked about IQ differences between
Cool.
ethnicities, all this like
Mhm.
very forbidden stuff. But he's
Oh,
just
yes, it is.
yeah, but he's just an extremely smart guy and very well spoken, and I just enjoyed it because he's also very dramatic, and he's into theater, and yeah, so I love that. I'm very much into theater and yeah, plays. So I watched a bunch of his videos. Then later, Jordan Peterson, who was different back then.
Mm.
I enjoyed a lot of his videos, his speeches. I just like these kind of what were they called? Like the dark intellectual sphere. I
Yeah, the
think
dark
that
web,
was kind of
right.
like the term for
Mhm.
them for a while. Sargon of Akkad, still a great guy from the UK, Carl Benjamin. So those were kind of like my original inspirations, and I just I knew for myself I wanted to get on that path. I wanted to kind of get into that sphere, get to know these kinds of people, and I don't know, make my way in there somehow. Somehow, it was a lot of trial and error. It was a lot of failure, a lot of setbacks, mostly due to my health and personal relationships, family problems. Um, but yeah, eventually now I'm in America, so it's been a pretty crazy story, and I totally understand that my path is so unlikely that there have been a lot of people questioning how did she even make it there? Like
Mhm.
that's not natural. There
'Cause
must
you're
be some
very
weird
bright
funding,
and you know what
conspiracy,
you're
something
talking
in the
about.
background.
Yeah.
And I have to say, I don't know. I don't know how. It's been a lot of consistency, and I don't know. I think whenever something happened where I knew I had to move forward, I had to take that opportunity. I just did. I had to confront a lot of my fears. Coming to America, I had very little money. I was basically using the last money that I had, and I thought somehow things will work themselves out. And I don't know. God help me.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, tell me a little bit more about, or as much as you can, about your asylum process. Like, how is the case going? Have you had your interview yet? Do
Not
you
yet. And I
Okay.
don't know when that will be. Right now, the case is in the hands of the DOJ, and I'm just waiting for mail. So the way it worked was, I originally, when I came to America, I didn't intend to stay for longer than, I thought, maybe a month, maybe 3 months. Um, depending on how much money I can even make. And then I was lucky that during the election period, I made significantly more money on X than I ever did before, which is still not a ton of money. Just to be clear here, it's not like I didn't make like tens of thousands or whatever. Some do, which is great for them. Like, I'm not envious of anyone, but that gave me the chance to like book an Airbnb and stay in America for a little longer and just keep going, keep seeing the election. And then eventually, now I work with a German alternative media outlet, and that gives me the stability that I need, which is amazing. So they are called Deutschland Kurier. That's fully disclosed on my page, and so I just produce videos for them, or rather, I just tag them, put their logo on my videos, but I still make the same content that I did before. Nobody's telling me what to say or do. Basically, they
Mhm.
just say, "Okay, we see that you're a good representative
Yeah,
for
we support
Germany in
you.
the United States, so just do whatever you want to do."
Great.
We're not even giving you topics. Maybe
Wow.
every now and then we show you, like, we have these connections to AfD politicians. You can talk to them if you want to. And yeah, it's great for me because I have a lot of freedoms, and I'm too stubborn to work for anybody who wants to put words in my mouth. So that's great. And yeah, I had to make the decision how to stay in the United States if I wanted to. And during the Christmas period of 2024, I got a lot of death threats from Antifa. And it became a major concern for me because I had tried to get help from the police before in like 2019. And they told me that as long as you haven't actually been raped or killed, there's nothing we can do for you.
Ay.
So yeah, I didn't want to put that burden on my family, and I decided I should probably stay away from there because my family address was fully public, because it's a thing legally in Germany on YouTube. You have to put your full address. I
Whoa.
didn't have like a business address or anything, so yeah, uh, my home address was public. My mom's phone number is public because she's a lawyer and she works from home. So kind of everything is tied together. So I decided, okay, no, I'm going to make it very publicly known that I'm still in the United States. So I actually went to Mexico for like a week just so I can leave and go back in, because you can stay for 3 months in America at a time and for 6 months in total as a German in America per year. So that's what I did. And then as I was extending this stay, could basically stay for another 3 months. That worked, fortunately. Um, I had to make a decision how to continue now. And then eventually I thought, okay, I can apply for a journalism visa, which would give me the chance to stay for maybe 4 years, I think. So that's pretty good. I can just apply for a journalism visa, no problem there. Or maybe I can eventually consider I don't know, extraordinary abilities visa. There are many ways. There are ways to get a visa, and the journalism visa would have been a great extension for me. And then I found out about intelligence surveillance. That was not even the case that I mentioned to you before. It was just I filed a request to domestic intelligence, not the so called BND, which is like international intelligence. And they already informed me that I had been put under intelligence surveillance for the past 4 years. Um, and yeah, so in combination with the Antifa death threats that I was getting increasingly, especially as Elon Musk was amplifying me more. That was especially when he did the live space with Alice Weidel, the AfD leader, which I was the one who organized that and put them in touch with each other, and I proposed that idea. Um, I thought it's too unsafe in Germany because they
Mhm.
will eventually try to put me in prison for my free speech. In Germany, it's illegal to insult politicians.
Seriously? It's
Generally.
illegal?
Yes. Since Angela Merkel,
Whoa.
she put that in the law, paragraph, so Article 188, it's illegal to damage the reputation of a politician. Damage the reputation.
Even
That's
if you're like
insane. So you can
wow.
twist anything into damaging the reputation of a politician. For example, you can get investigated, have your house raided for calling the current chancellor Pinocchio. So yeah.
That's giving you guys. I feel like that's giving the people, in a sense, like, way too much power, you know? I feel
Yeah, of
like
course. There's an entire company called the So Done Company that make tons of money together in collaboration with these politicians. They use AI to scan like hundreds of thousands of posts every month and then file all these reports where then people are being investigated. They have to go to
Wow.
court. They have to pay fines. Maybe if you're lucky, you just pay like 600 euros. But it's like, paying that for what? For these
Expressing
tyrants
yourself. Wow.
that make so much money from our taxes already? That's just insane. So people don't speak up anymore. And I didn't want to fall into that trap because I just knew at some point I'm gonna make a post where they charge me with something, and they did eventually. Um, and yeah, so I spoke with a lawyer, and migration lawyer, and she said you should probably fight for asylum. And it was a difficult decision, mostly because of my grandma. Because I have a very good relationship with my grandma, and I haven't seen her in a long time. Because
Oh.
during the time when I was so ill in Germany, I couldn't see her, and she lives like 1 or 2 hours away. But
Mhm.
I never made it to her home. So I hadn't seen her in a quite long time, and my relationship with her improved dramatically over the years with politics because she actually agreed with me on so many topics as opposed to the rest of the family. My
Wow.
extended family totally hates what I do,
Face
which is fine. So
grandma.
I have
Mhm.
no contact with them, but she wants to maintain the peace of the family, which is great. Like, I want her to have a good relationship with everybody, but she's very grateful that I keep her in the loop with politics, and we talk a lot on WhatsApp. Um, but yeah, I knew that if I apply for asylum now, I will not be able to leave the country for years. There's a very
Oh.
good chance that I will never see my grandma again. And I talked to her about it too, and she said, "I support you."
Oh
So
my gosh, that's so hard, Naomi, but that's
yeah,
also so
uh,
beautiful, like, that how close you 2 have become and that
yes,
you maintain that closeness even though you're so far apart, and, um,
yes, and that's
that's
extremely
so I
valuable
mean,
to me.
it just takes such bravery to do what you're
My
doing.
mom already visited me in America. I'm hoping that my sister can come at some point, and so that's not the major issue. And everything that I might conceivably miss in Germany, I know that maybe one day I can see it again. And right now, it would just not be safe enough for me. So that's not the major issue. Um, but yeah, with my grandma, there's not really a way around it. I cannot have her come to America. She's just too old.
Yeah,
But yeah, I'm immensely grateful just for this positive relationship that we have developed, which
yeah,
had to grow over the years too. So there's been a lot of maturing in my family as well. And I have to say, just generally, like I said, I went through so much hardship over the past like 5, 6 years that now I am in the best spot that I've been probably in my entire life, because
wow.
I have a lot more stability in terms of survival. I still struggle with my health a lot, by the way, which is not so visible on social media, but it's unfortunately a reality. But yeah, I don't look as sickly as I did anymore, and it's funny. There's so much drama on X. Like, you even pointed out to me the post that I made about like, there's so much like promiscuity and sex scandals and all that.
Yes.
And recently, I got involved in some of that, where um, Ashley Sinclair made some allegations about me, and
Ah! Did 'cause
it's
you're like, "Wait,
it's
did
so
Elon
far
ask
removed.
you to be a baby mama too?" I wonder if she got
Right.
jealous.
I did realize as I came here that there is a lot of this type of stuff going on, a lot of cheating in the industry.
That's sad.
I'm just
It is
not
very
interested.
sad. Yeah,
I'm just not interested. I don't know. I grew up with. I want to make a video about this. I grew up with German fairy tales, and I wanted to live that. I want my life to be like the books that I read growing up. And I want to be a good protagonist for that book, for that story. So if I was a cheater, or if I was involved in all these weird scandals, if I was living like this super hedonistic life, then I would just not like the protagonist, and it would be a boring book, right? So I need to be able to root for myself. So
you
that's
already
kind of like
totally
the
look the
standard that I
part.
will hold myself to.
You totally look
Yeah,
the part, Naomi, so I'm totally on board.
I don't
So
want to be bored of myself.
did you say that Ashley reached out to you or you got into it with her? Like, what on
No, I actually never had any relationship with
okay.
her, like nothing. But obviously, I didn't know that she was pregnant during the time when Elon reached out to me, and I think that's what made her so resentful.
Oh,
She
yes, of
never had any
course.
intentions with Elon,
Of course
right?
that's it.
There was
No.
nothing. Just to be clear, there was nothing. But
Right.
yeah, I think that made her extremely jealous, and so
Yes.
she just posted something on Instagram, very spiteful, because Yilmaz Chong called her out for trying to trans her child. Which honestly, personally, I just want to make that clear. I don't believe that she wants to trans her child. I do believe that was intentionally twisted,
Hmm.
um, because she just changed her views on transitioning altogether, which I
Yeah.
disagree with. But I do hope that she's a good mom. I don't think she's an abusive mom. I don't think she would do that. I don't know her personally. Um, but yeah, that's why she got extremely upset at Ian Miles Chong. And then she made this post on Instagram, that I allegedly banned Ian Miles Chong. And then I was seeing Elon, and
Oh gosh.
yeah. Okay.
Calm down, Ashley. Yeah, I've been following her stuff lately, just thinking like, because she's a very smart girl, she could do whatever she wants, and I'm just like thinking like, what is her angle here? Like, she is kind of seems to be like regressing to like liberal views of maybe like a younger Ashley, or who knows,
I think
what
it's
her is.
she's trying to um she's trying to compartmentalize the guilt that she is experiencing, which I understand, because there is a lot that she feels very guilty about now, which is kind of justified. Um, like the circles that she operated in, being paid for a bunch of posts, and kind of
I didn't realize she
being
was
a
getting
grifter in
so
a
much
way.
money,
There
like,
is a lot of rotten stuff in our industry too. I fully agree with that, and I fully agree with some stuff that she is exposing. Actually, I don't think everything that she's exposing is horrible on her part, but the reason why she's doing it, I think, um is not that not is pretty sanctimonious in a way, because I think it's because she just feels guilty for it, and so she's saying, "I'm going to drag you all into hell with me." Um, I was never part of these industries. I have not been paid by foreign entities for posts, and I have no
yeah,
interest in that. And I just don't seek out a ton of money in this industry. I'm um, That's for others to do, and I'm just for me, it's more important to kind of be in alignment with my values. And of course, I have some, like some of my posts, you will say that that's very populist, that's very extreme, that's very radical. That is sometimes necessary to push a certain message and to push the Overton window.
right.
Um, but there's nothing, I think, that I look back on where I think that I was pushed by any malicious intent. And yeah, if I'm wrong on something, then I will say that. That's totally fine. If you want to confront me on something, a post that I made at some point,
Yeah,
and you say, "Are you sure you agree with that?" And maybe there is a chance that I disagree with stuff that I've said in the past, and I will acknowledge that, because I don't have it. I don't want to have anything to lose. It would be so
yeah,
stressful for
yes,
me to have to stick to a narrative
yes,
and
yeah.
defend it at all costs. I just cannot do that. No.
No, it's too much to
That
keep straight,
seems
and, like,
very
Naomi, it
stressful.
seems like and I'm not as political as you are, but I get the comments too, like, "Oh, or have you been paid for this or that?" Because I think anybody once you get to a level of a certain amount of followers on Twitter, people just and it because so many stories have come out, people just go it's a shame that some people assume, like, once you get to a certain level that you've been paid or people are paying you to post certain things, and I'm looking around like, "Man, none of these people are hitting me up, like, I'm excited, I just got a sponsor." In fact, this is a great time for a note from my sponsor, fastgrowingtrees.com. I'm gonna share the screen. This is a funny time to do an ad read. But this is the I'm not in it for the money, I'm in it for the product, guys.
That's
Fast
so
growing
cute. I like that.
this is exciting. This is my new they're not really a sponsor. I have a code. We have a custom fastgrowingtrees.com. This is very exciting. You can basically like grow a mini like you buy like a little tree and Fast Growing Trees delivers your favorite plants and trees to your doorstep. This is so exciting and cute and I'm going to get into in my old age, like plants, birds. I'm very excited. And it's like you can look up what, like, whatever area you live in, you can look at, in the United States, I think it's levels 1 through 9, and depending on what part of the country you live in, you're either like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then with that number is like a correlating, trees that you can grow in your yard that, like, won't die right away. So, if you guys go to fastgrowingtrees.com and use my promo code, wait, I have a scrolling banner. We're doing it. Wait. Yes, check out fastgrowingtrees.com. Use my promo code for 20% off, and that code is FGTCM20. See,
This
I'm
is
not
how I repent for my sins of being this anti-Greta.
Yes, yes,
Fast growing trees.
exactly.
I am not anti-environmentalism. Which
Of
is such
course
a
not.
terrible misconception. I'm actually
Of
a
course
big fan of
not.
environment and everything green, and I hate
Yes,
flying.
you're
I
just
don't
told
even
you hate
drive.
lying, and you
Shocking.
hate
I do not have a license. I never got a license.
Oh, for driving?
Yeah, because in Germany it's ridiculously expensive. It's like 3,000 at this point to get a license.
Whoa.
Yeah, I didn't have that kind of
That's
money back then,
crazy.
and I didn't care enough because so this is a nice fact about my hometown Münster. It's the city of bikes. We basically compete with Amsterdam, which city has more of a bike culture. So yeah, if you look up Münster, especially in summer, you will see bikes everywhere. It's pretty insane.
Love
But
that.
yeah, so I was just riding my bike everywhere.
That's very cute.
Big fan of the trees. I like that.
Good, good. I should try to send you a tree. Do you so part of your asylum process, do you have to submit, like, evidence? Like, for example, you mentioned all these death
Yes.
threats, and just more evidence support, like, that it's unsafe for you to return safely to Germany. How do you, like, compile this evidence? Like, who are you submitting it to? What is that process like?
So the way it works is, so you originally file your application. There's this form that you have to fill out, and then you have to write a letter where you just detail everything that you've experienced. It's basically just a personal letter where you explain your entire backstory and all the reasons why you should get asylum. So that letter exists, and I had to send it in. USCIS are the authorities, I believe, and then you get a date. I had a preliminary court hearing where they just discussed where they're going to push my case. So it's kind of like a bureaucratic question, and right now it's with the DOJ. So it's probably going to be the DOJ who will decide what happens with me. But I have to wait for an interview right now. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, interesting. I guess you did explain your conversation with Elon
It's
a
funny
little
at
bit.
CPAP, for example, I spent a lot of time with Greg Bovino. Um, he doesn't want to support to deport me for some reason.
Oh, good. No, we don't want you to be deported. I mean, I want you to see your grandma, but I don't want you to be deported because I forget, like, how bad the free speech situation is, in the European countries, so it just really bums me
It's
out, but it also
insane.
makes me
Progressive
grateful.
Western countries. And here I was starting my ex journey by speaking up about the tyranny and anti free speech in Brazil. And I remember vividly thinking back then, we could never imagine this in Germany.
Hmm.
And now,
Yeah.
in my opinion, it's even worse in Germany.
And
So
here we are, and this is only since what? The really the last 10, 11 years it's gotten bad in
yes,
Germany.
yes, because of mass migration, and then as the German AfD party became so much more popular, especially over the past 2 years, that has significantly amplified the effect of tyranny. And
Wow.
now we have to be very kind of anxious about what's going to happen next because the European Union want to ban the AfD party, and they gained a lot of power again with the victory of the new guy in Hungary. Forgot his name, but yeah, um, the fact that Orban lost is pretty bad for us because he was kind of stabilizing
Oh,
um,
no.
Europe, or like maintaining a balance of right versus left wing and globalists. Yeah,
Jeez.
France is
Okay.
pretty bad too because French intelligence have been involved with manipulating the Romanian election. So
Wow, okay. Do you think Germany will actually be able to abolish the AfD party? Like, do you think they're actually capable of that?
that's a good question. That's a very good question. I don't know the answer to that. It depends very much on the legal process. I do believe there would be, yeah, they would be capable of doing it, but it wouldn't be very smart because there would be a civil war.
Mm.
I hope. But I'm not hoping for a civil war, but I'm hoping that we can maintain that pressure, that we can maintain the facade, kind of like peace through strength. That we as the people, we as the AfD voters, supporters, we would be willing to rise up against the government, which is difficult because Germans are not very revolutionary people. And
No?
they do like to keep to
Has it always
themselves.
been
They
that
do
way?
like to stick to the rules. Oh, we love the rules. I don't, but generally, as Germans, yeah, very compliant with rules, which is the big problem with Germans historically, being compliant.
Right.
So, yeah, now kind of for the first time in a very long time, we have a pro-freedom, revolutionary, reformative movement, and this movement is still like the AfD is still, we're all Germans. And I love to see that, right? I love that. I love the German mentality. Um, but they need to be brave. And that courage, that bravery is sometimes hard to tickle out of Germans. So
Mhm.
this bravery, this courage needs to grow bolder than the tyranny itself. And we need to be faster. And that's kind of, right now, it's kind of like a 50-50 where I see it.
Right.
And the big problem is in Germany because we have parliamentary elections. Um, if the AfD, uh, the AfD is now we're approaching like maybe 30% of the votes, which is fantastic. They are the
Wow.
most
Yeah.
popular party, but all the other parties can decide that they will form a massive coalition to outrule the AfD, even though the AfD individually is the most popular party. That's pretty insane because it's quite tyrannical that the system works this way. But the other parties, even though they are significantly less popular, they can just decide we will form a massive coalition. They call this the firewall, the Brandmauer, against the AfD to kind of outrule them.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
So what we're hoping for is that maybe one of the small parties would eventually be willing to form a coalition with the AfD so that they can then together combined make it across the 50% hurdle.
Yeah, kinda like what happened, with Trump when he joined forces with,
Yeah.
like, RFK and,
Yeah,
you
kind
know
of like that. Mhm.
you mentioned before about that it might be necessary for Germany to leave the EU. What
Oh
do you
yeah,
think
absolutely.
what do you think Germany would look like outside of it? It just seems like kind of a big scary thing.
No, Germany is a very independent country, and like I said before, they do keep to themselves a lot. We have a very strong um, culture and economy where Germans are very self-reliant. We're very independent, very self-reliant. We're kind of just putting ourselves in these chains of the European Union. We do not need the European Union. Everybody else needs us. So, in my opinion, that's just a massive obstacle in our way. We can easily get rid of it and become self reliant, independent. We need to get the nuclear power back up. So, energy is a major issue. And I think that's the reason why they try to destroy German energy independence, because that's why we still need the European Union.
That's kinda similar to how, in America, they, for certainly under Biden, like, they were, against drilling and, our
Yeah.
own, drilling our own oil, so, yeah.
They want to destroy the German economy because they know that Germans by themselves could be independent.
Wow, that's so
That's the
sad
problem.
and so diabolical, truly.
Yeah. Germans
Naomi
are very conscientious, very diligent,
mhm.
very smart. And I don't just say that because I'm German. It's just, it's a fact.
I wanna talk about oh, yes, you mentioned so other than yeah, possibly, like, you're not seeing your grandma and, like, your family, do you have any other kind of, like, guilt over leaving Germany? It just seems like it's absolutely necessary in order for you to speak your mind, and I feel like you're doing more good staying here, you know, giving Americans a chance and really giving global visibility to these issues that not a lot of people have the balls or can speak out about because they're gonna be fined for every tweet, every post.
Sorry, I have to warn you for a second that I'm approaching 10% battery.
Oh, no. Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah,
Okay, let's see, what
poor
should we
thing.
talk about? The Muslims infiltrating your army or feminist views? Let's see.
I'm
Do.
getting a charger.
Okay. Let me share the screen. I really like this one tweet you had. Bum, bum, ba, 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 bum, bum, bum. Oh, you know what? This is good. Let me go to the chat. There's a couple of super chats here. K-Max, what's up, K-Max? Naomi, Naomi, there is no such thing as a German Tim Pool. You both have appeared on Tim's show, but could a Tim Pool show do well in Germany?
That's a very good question. We have a podcast, ungescripted, I think it's called. His name is Ben, and he is going to do a major episode tomorrow with Björn Höcke,
Ooh.
who is arguably the most controversial AfD politician, but also, in my opinion, the best one.
Oh, cool.
Um, so that's going to be very interesting. That's so in America, you don't typically hear that much about German podcasts because they're in German. They do exist, but not to the same extent. Also, because we don't have that kind of funding. It's very difficult in Germany to even unite and get any sort of monetary funding for anything that's remotely political or offensive in any way. So that's why I also struggled for many years to even get into anything in the industry. I never got any. I never got to join any organizations or anything that would pay me for my efforts. That's why I was just barely scraping the surface with like a little bit of YouTube money for a while.
Yeah.
But it was okay because I was still living at home, so I didn't necessarily need it. And like I said, I was not in it for the money. I do believe that I could have been way smarter with making money. I could have looked into so much more. I don't know, be it crypto or stocks. I don't know. I just didn't. I didn't care because I was more interested in the content.
Yeah, of course. Okay, Russell Hall says the AfD is gaining a lot of momentum lately, and barring an outright banning of the party, might gain enough seats to form the next German government.
I do hope so.
Mhm.
Like I said, it all depends on whether or not we will have another party forming a coalition with them. And I firmly hope that that will be the case and that another party will even get enough votes to. So we have something called the like 5% hurdle. Every party that actually wants to be in the Bundestag needs to cross the 5% hurdle. And otherwise, they will just not even be considered. And then they have a chance to form a coalition with the AfD. So right now that we're approaching 30%, let's say we can make it to 30%. That still means there's 20% missing. So we need to
Yeah.
kind of get, yeah, we we need more. Um, and I do. So let's say that's in. I think the next elections are 2029, 8, 9. I think 2029, 2028 is in America. I think it will also depend a lot on the American election, the
Mm,
next presidency. Because if it's somebody like Vance, for example, then I think the German authorities would be too scared to ban the AfD.
good.
So
Good.
America's impact is very important in Europe.
Wow. I think a lot of Americans forget that a lot, just how influential our politics are. Russell Hall says, German fairy tales are kind of dark.
Oh yeah, that's true. But they're also encouraging, motivating in a way. They are dark because people violate the rules, and then they get dark. They get
And
dark
Germans
as soon
love
as
their
characters
rules.
oppose the rules, and then yeah, as soon as somebody does something evil, they will get the consequences, and the
Give me an
consequences
example,
can be
Naomi.
very dark and very gruesome.
What's an
But
example of
yeah,
a German fairy tale? Is Hansel and Gretel one?
yes, for example.
Okay.
So where they like get shoved in the oven and that kind of stuff. They are pretty brutal. We also have some kids stories. If you look up, I don't know how to Struwwelpeter. Somebody
I
maybe
don't know
can
how to
type it in the
spell
chat.
that.
If you look that up, it's pretty gruesome and brutal. I loved reading those stories as a kid. I loved them. The more brutal, the better.
Really?
Um,
That's so
because
true.
it's like that's the moral of the story.
Mhm.
Don't do something bad, then you will not get those bad consequences. But it's usually like the evil guys in the stories that
Yeah.
get the worst consequences. Yeah.
Junior
Snow
says,
White. A
shout
lot
out
of the
to
Disney fairy tales are based on German fairy tales
I
because
love that.
they are based on the Brother Grimm fairy
Oh,
tales.
yes,
Because
Naomi, I think you should write a German fairy tale with yourself as the protagonist, and then we'll find somebody to illustrate it, and then you can get into the conservative,
that's a very
book
cute
circuit.
idea. I like that.
Junior, thanks for the super chat. Shout out to friend of the show, Ashley St. Clair. She's has she
Yes.
been on the show? Gosh, it's possible. Yeah, I worked with her a couple times. We were more like cordial. I would say we were like
Then
acquaintances.
you've had more contact with her than I have. I've never spoken with her. I just didn't realize for a long time because I followed her for a while because I just saw that she existed.
Yeah.
Um, she never followed me, and I didn't understand why. That's all I knew. I also knew that my that's another thing. So Ara Luch is a very good friend of mine, and she came to America with me because I got to know her in Italy
Oh,
while she was
cool.
living there, and then we traveled to America together. And she was friends with Ashley, and I did not know Ashley.
Oh.
I just knew that they met up, but I didn't know anything else. I didn't know about the pregnancy. I didn't know anything. So Ashley Sinclair must have assumed that, I don't know, maybe Ada told me, or Ada was kind of like playing both sides or something. I don't know. She must
Yeah.
have felt like Ada was hiding something. So she now accuses Ada of being a prostitute and that she got deported for being a prostitute. That's generally what she
Wow.
said. Quite cruel because I know it's just not true.
Yikes. Oh my gosh. Russell Hall, Germany has deindustrialized itself to the point that it's likely unrecoverable. The damage is extreme, and the Greens are still blocking nuclear energy. Yeah, you
No,
mentioned
no, unrecoverable. Who are you talking to? We came back from World War II.
yeah, Russell,
Everything was
what are
in
you talking
shambles.
about?
Yeah, everything was in shambles. We survived World War II.
Yeah.
We survived World War One.
Don't listen to
But
Russell.
maybe we shouldn't come back from our current situation the way we did after World War One. That was controversial. But yeah, then we also had socialism. So we have a lot of stuff in our past that's been hard to deal with for Germans, and they still built the country back up.
It's so
And
true.
no, just to be clear here, it was not the Turkish immigrants after World War II who built Germany, because the Germans had already set the foundation, and then the Turkish immigrants, they came after Germany had already been rebuilt to a great extent.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, I
Because we in Germany are being fed the lie that it was the
Mhm.
Turkish immigrants who built Germany back up after World War II. That's kind of like that's how they guilt tripped us into accepting a ton of immigrants.
Okay, interesting. I know that my, I God, I've mentioned this so many times, so sorry to the chat if you're bored of this, but my father's father, uh, was a German soldier, and I'm like and then one time well, obviously, all these people are dead now, but when my dad was still alive, I was like, "Hey, was grandfather, like a Nazi?" And he would say, "No, no, he wasn't." Like, he would say the Nazis were, like, the top of the top, the best, and, like, his dad was like, "Eh." I don't know what other where he was stationed or what, just that he was, like, a German soldier who felt very, very guilty. That's what I all I heard growing up was just how much guilt, like, he and his whole family carried about the Holocaust, and that's just such a big part of, like, German identity, and I feel bad, and I feel like
Yeah, German guilt is a problem.
everyone
Because
should
I mean, to be honest, in the grand scheme of history and the international wars that have been taking place for so many centuries, um, can we compare tragedies? Why should we do that? Why is
Mhm.
it constantly like they generally asked an AFD politician, do you think that the Holocaust was the worst atrocity in history? Like why would we do a ranking?
Right, and why
I feel
would you
like
keep
that's just
bringing it up?
strange.
Yeah, it was so long
Yeah.
ago. Russell Hall, you have no path forward without access to Russian energy. It's impossible to run an industrial economy if your energy is 3 times the price of its competitors. Interesting. I have no opinion on that. K Max says, Chrissy, something very German. Oh, something very German about you. Food or culturally, you and Naomi might have this in common. Come on, didn't we all watch Hogan's Heroes? I'm so sad to report that my dad did not really impart much German culture on us. Like I have no, actually that was my grandmother. That was my Norwegian side. No, my dad didn't teach us German. He really barely spoke it because again, he felt such shame and he came to this country when he was 8 years old. And so him and his family, it was all about assimilation. It was all about fitting in. So they were not like Germaning it up, they were
They
not
banned
like
speaking German at some point in America.
that makes total sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he didn't really I mean, what did we have in the house? Mostly German potato salad. That's kind of the extent of it. And then my dad drank like a metric ton of Heineken and Beck's and Stella. I don't even know if those are all German beers, but
It's okay. I'm celiac and I don't even drink, which means I can neither enjoy beer nor bread anymore.
oh,
But there's a lot of amazing German foods, in my opinion. I personally love so-called Rouladen, which is stuffed meat rolls dish.
ooh,
Yeah, they're pretty good. So it's like pounded meat rolled up, and then it's in this like a gravy sauce, and then on the inside you have bacon and pickles and mustard. Um, so
ooh.
it's kind of like a slow cooked meat dishes are pretty good in Germany. And then the red cabbage, it's like
Oh,
sweetened red cabbage. You have that in
so
America too,
good.
pretty similar. It's probably inspired by that. And then the German dumplings, we have potato dumplings, we have bread
We go to this
dumplings. I like
one German spot, this one German restaurant called Naomi's. They have like it was the first time I ever had Spatzel, which is so good. It's
yes,
basically like a
Spätzle,
Spatzel. I'm saying it wrong. Um,
Spätzle.
Spätzle, that's way cooler
Yes,
sounding. Yeah, the baby loves it, and, one of my, super fans, Sam, sent us, like, this really cute, like, lederhosen outfit thing that I still have to put him in, um, so I'm gonna have to do that tomorrow, and what else? They have really good my gosh, like, they have this meat dish with that is so, so, so good. I feel like I have to get the menu, but we go there every once in a while, and it's everything they make is so good.
is another fun fact in Austria. So recently, April 20th was Hitler's birthday.
April
Congrats.
20th. Happy
Yes.
belated, Hitler.
Yeah. And in Austria, it's illegal to cook or even just post something about a dish called Eiernockal, which is very simple, kind of like a mix between scrambled eggs and dumplings, looks a bit like
Ooh,
Spätzle.
okay.
You're not allowed to post it because it was Hitler's favorite dish. They
Hold
will
on, can
arrest
you spell
you.
it out? What's it called again?
They arrested somebody who posted about Eiernockal on his birthday. Those are the
Oh.
priorities that we have.
Eiernockal. Yes, simple and popular Austrian culinary dish. It was his favorite. It was egg dumplings. How exciting
Yes.
and what a fun fact. Let's
Not so fun if you go to jail.
no, and that's so how insane that, like, just talking about his favorite food can get you in trouble. But let's talk about it now, because we live in America, Naomi. Okay, let's see. He liked the egg dumplings with green salad. The cook described him as not at all demanding. See, guys, Hitler was not all that demanding. And she would make the dumplings small and cover them with an egg mixture to impress him. Okay, let's see. He also liked liver dumplings
Interesting.
for health reasons. See, he was believing it caused cancer and excessive sweating. Oh, wow. Oh, that's why he reduced his meat consumption. He never gave up liver dumplings, though.
Good
From
for him. They're very good. I like them.
From 1937 onward, Hitler ceased eating all meat except for this dish. Prior to the Second World War, he frequently consumed meat. He liked stuffed squab, which is a fledgling pigeon, and that was his favorite too. He also enjoyed Bavarian sausages. Who doesn't? Liver dumplings and pan fried trout and butter sauce. Then he shifted to vegetarianism for health reasons. Wow.
Caviar.
Isn't that funny? They said
All that man eats good.
he shifted to vegetarianism for health reasons, not for moral ones. Yeah.
That's more pescatarianism, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. He was concerned about cancer, which killed his mother. And oh my God, me and Hitler have that in common. And believed meat consumption and pollution contributed to the disease. He ate vegetables, fruits, eggs, continued eating liver dumplings, occasionally caviar or ham. And then, it came out that vegetarianism was a marketing scheme by Nazi propagandists to create an image of self control and aestheticism, which is so very German. Let's see. The
It's
most.
it's not though. Because like the very high protein, very meat heavy German diet should actually be more aspirational, I think, for a German
Yes.
soldier. So I
That's
don't know.
better for you, and it keeps you from getting fat. How exciting. Wow, we're learning so much. I love this. Okay, thank you, K-Max.
This
That
is
was
where
fun.
Hitler and I have a disagreement. The one time. I'm kidding. This is a joke. This is a joke.
No, I make Hitler jokes pretty free not as often as I should, but
Not as often as you should.
it's fun. It's fun to talk about him. Okay.
Never waste an opportunity.
It's
Always
fun
a
to
good
bring
thing.
up little known facts about him, like his art career.
Honestly, I think we need to make jokes about him. Like, do you
Yes.
think he wants to be remembered as a meme? I don't know. We're making fun of him essentially. I think
He
we're
would not
doing
he would not
we're
wanna be
doing everybody a service by mocking Hitler.
did you always were you always critical of feminism? Or did you go to college, by the way?
No,
Okay,
no.
good for you.
I
Wow, you're
tried.
you're
I tried. It
smarter
was so
than
boring. I quit after 6 months. I went to the gym every single day. Got into weightlifting. I went to maybe 2 lectures.
Oh,
I
wow.
went into economics. Actually, in middle school, I was still unpolitical, non-political, and I applied at Cambridge for law. And then I went there
Ooh.
for the interview. I got accepted, and I hated it because I thought everybody's so elitist here.
Oh, wow.
So I'm glad I didn't go. Also because we couldn't have afforded it, so I would have had to get a scholarship somehow. Costs are crazy there. And university is free in Germany. The
Oh, wow, that's
free
right.
taxes.
Great, yeah.
But yeah, so eventually I went into economics after I had already written an entire thesis for a competition uh, with the title A Deconstruction of Postmodern Socialism and Its Motives. You can look it up. It's online available. The entire thesis was like 60, 70 pages
Oh, wow.
in English. I wrote that at 18 for a
Wow.
competition in my hometown, and yeah, I was just not qualified to win just because I didn't fulfill the requirements of being in university. So yeah, after that, I went to university for like 6 months, and then I quit because I hated it. And then so that kind of contributed to my whole depression because in Germany, qualifications going to university is very very important. The credentials are so highly valued, unfortunately. That's because they want to keep the smart people in the system
Mm,
so that they
makes
are
sense.
indoctrinated. Yeah.
Just so that they
And
have
so if
control over
you
them. Yeah.
are the straight A student who doesn't go to university, you have failed your entire bloodline essentially.
Wow.
So that
And
put a
then
lot of pressure on me, but
while
I
you were
knew that I couldn't do it.
when did you
I had to
start
stay on my strange path.
did you see a lot of, like, feminist propaganda as you were growing up?
Oh yeah. So I remember vividly the first time I got in touch with the feminist propaganda was Emma Watson's big speech about feminism. And I had two best friends in like middle school who thought it was amazing. And so it was this whole thing of like, so are you a feminist now? And I asked like, what does feminism mean? It means gender equality. It means that men and women are both equally valuable. And I thought, okay, yeah, I'm a feminist now, whatever. So that made me a feminist because I thought it meant uh, that we have equal value as men and women. And I thought, wow, such an inspirational speech. And then, like 2 years later, I looked into what feminism actually means. And then I also simultaneously, I spent a lot, you're going to roast me for this. I spent a lot of time on Tumblr.
No,
So
I love that about
I
you.
saw the origins of pronoun culture. I'm not even joking.
Oh,
And
yep.
I had this one. Canadian friend, I think, on Tumblr. And then she started changing her gender and said, I'm non binary now. And also, I have
Ugh,
dissociative identity
Canadian.
disorder and all these things. And um, I'm trans now. And so I had to learn all these pronoun things. And I thought,
Mm.
okay, that's a mental illness. And then, yeah, a little later when I got into politics, it kind of all added up for me. But that means I got to see both sides. I
Yes.
fully empathize with what she was experiencing. I saw the mental illness, and it's sad. It's very sad. Um, so yeah, I kind of I saw both perspectives. So nobody, no Ashley Sinclair, nobody can tell me that I'm just not feeling for these people. I do. Like that's where I came from. I was not going to be non-binary or trans, but I totally try to understand it. I subscribe to a lot of their YouTube channels. This is how I was raised. I was in Tumblr culture. I read fan
Mhm.
fiction.
Yeah.
Sherlock specifically. That was my big thing. I watched the BBC show Sherlock.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, how cute. Okay, let me see. What's a good we'll go on the side. Here we are. I love this tweet, from Naomi. Feminists rarely spread oh, no, feminists
Really spread
really,
that out.
really spread their legs for free these days and call that empowerment. And this goes back to, gosh, way before your time, Naomi. This a show that I grew up with was Sex in the City, which was like, oh
Yeah.
my god, the coolest. This is what it means to be like making it as an adult woman. You're working in New York City, you're single, you're like just have such a cool, fun, exciting life. And part of that is, yeah, you're having lots of sex with no feeling, no attachment. And that's just it was seen as a marker or a measure of like your strength, rather than it's just completely opposite. Like I think it's actually it takes a much stronger woman to say no and to save yourself for marriage. I
Yeah,
know
and
that.
it's sad to me because here we go back to the fairy tales.
Yeah.
I wanted the love story. I wanted the romantic princess fairy tale love story. And I could not see myself dating anyone without the intention of it being for life.
Mhm.
And that still holds true to this day. Maybe that is a very naive worldview, but I like for me personally, there was never any appeal of just like hookup culture or situationships. In school, I never dated anyone because I thought to myself, there is just no way that I will fall in love with somebody here in my school who just happens to be around me. Like I'm kind of
Right.
forced into this situation to be around these people. And yeah, friendship's fine, but being in love with someone here and then potentially marrying them one day, the odds are just very low. I saw it from a very rational perspective. So I
Very
thought I'm not
rational.
gonna be in school. I'm not gonna waste my time.
You're like,
And
"I
then
did
yeah,
the math. I did the math, and the statistics were not
yes,
looking
exactly.
good."
That's how I thought about it. And then yeah, I don't know.
Right, but
That's still my aspiration is just
it's called
love.
empowerment, and when that is your view of dating is like it's almost like you I see a lot of women, like, you go out of your way to kind of date guys that suck, or maybe it's like you have the chemistry factor, but nothing else, and it's almost easier in a sense to date and be with men who you don't really connect with on that deeper level because it makes them more disposable, it makes the interactions less meaningful, it makes it easier for you to cut off and move on, and and this is why I think, like, birth control should kinda be abolished too, because if there was no
Yes.
birth control, then it would laser focus every woman to be like, "Whoa, okay, every person I date has to be really good,"
Yes.
and it would fix
That's my
everyone's
point.
picker. It would just focus women in a way that we need to be focused, and it would oh my gosh, you we would save so much time too, and it wouldn't just be hooking up wouldn't just be this, like it's like a handshake. So no, you went on to say, yeah, it's called empowerment. You'd
I
think a
think
man
another this I don't know, maybe it sounds strange, but another issue is so I also saw like statistics on that. With women, we obviously know that women like to date up, and I don't just mean financially; I also mean
height.
intelligence-wise.
Yeah, oh.
And that's very true for me. Like I couldn't be with a boring man or anybody who's less intelligent than me. And I'm not saying that I'm the smartest person in the world. And also there's like a lot of things where I'm just ridiculously stupid on, where men are typically more intelligent on than me, like just generally.
Oh, yeah.
But I do think that it's not just that I think I'm above average intelligent. Like I did an IQ test, and I just know that my odds of finding someone are
What's your
ridiculously low.
IQ, Naomi?
Unfortunately,
What's your number?
do you want to guess?
Okay, let's guess, chat. Let's guess Naomi's IQ.
Go
Um,
ahead and
wha
guess in the chat.
hold on, let me know. I have to first now Google what is considered a high IQ. Let's see. Okay, just saying, chat, 120 or above is considered superior intelligence, 9 to 10% of the population. 130 and above is categorized as very superior or gifted. I would
130 and above is kind of like the Mensa. I don't know if you know Mensa. It's
ooh,
kind of
yes,
like this high
and
intelligence. I do
140
not like that. I don't like all these like
qualifying for Mensa. Yeah, yeah.
elitist intellectual things where you
No,
can
because these
apply.
people probably aren't very fun. 140 and above would
Exactly,
be
they're not.
genius, near genius level. I'm sure that's just like a handful of people, 1% of the population. Like it's Elon and then
Over 9,000.
and then
Probably.
okay, I mean, I would say you're at least 130.
Whoa! Somebody did it exactly.
Really? Is it
Mhm.
which one was it? Was it
Somebody
150?
in the chat. Hmm?
Someone in the chat, you're gonna make me parse through every guess?
No, you don't have to. But somebody
127?
in the chat got it
125?
exactly.
Who is it? Who? Who guessed it? Is it 145? Is it 120? Is it
Deranged lunatic DL.
157?
Yes.
157? Wow! Hold on.
I did the test in like
Hold so
middle
you are a
school.
nuclear genius. You are at the genius, near genius, over 140 level. No wonder Ashley Sinclair shat her pants when she found out Elon had DM'd you. 'Cause
I did the test in like middle school for to possibly get a scholarship or something, and then I realized that you don't get most scholarships with intelligence. You just get it if you did a lot of social stuff in
or if
school.
you're brown, that helps a lot.
Yeah. And then I realized, oh shit, I did all these science competitions for years and nothing in terms of like
Wow.
social engagement and donating to Africa. So I didn't get the
Wow.
scholarships I wanted.
150 fucking 7, man. That is you're probably the smartest person I've ever even talked to.
I don't know
Although
if that's true.
I'm
There
gonna
are
have
very, very smart people in our industry.
That's true. I don't ask everybody their IQ, but that going forward will now be a requirement on the Chrissie Mayr podcast. I'm sure my IQ is like, who knows? It's
I'm
probably
so dumb
whatever
on some things
it's
though. I
probably
think
whatever
it's
the
I
small
mean,
one.
I don't know how IQ test. I don't know. It's just pattern recognition. IQ tests are designed to like test for pattern recognition, and
Okay.
it's kind of like an autistic thing
Maybe
in my
I have
head.
a high IQ because
I have a very associative brain, so I can
Mhm.
remember some things very well. Other things, like I'm terrible with names. I'm terrible with
I'm
names. Don't
pretty good
ask
with
me what their
pattern
names.
recognition because
Also,
I
I
can
have a
watch
severe deficit of like left and right and anything
oh.
geographical. So I don't know. I have some
I wonder if I have a
deficiencies
high
there.
IQ because I can usually talking about pattern recognition, I can usually watch a viral video of Black people and I know what's gonna happen because I have pattern recognition.
That's
Um,
why they hate people who are smart,
yeah,
because they can identify these patterns and they are not afraid to talk about it, because we just have a very objective worldview.
it's true.
Um,
Oh, I have to
yeah,
finish
and
reading this tweet. Okay.
not as much this like social adherence. It's just
It's true.
not very high.
You then went on to say, "You think a man came up with the idea that we tear down the patriarchy by offering all 3 holes to random men with 0 consequences." And it
She
seems like
said that in her video. She said like let him in the back door on like the second date or something.
which is
So I
wild
thought it
because
was
Alex
insane.
Cooper, the host of Call Her Daddy, is a married woman, so she's not even at this point practicing what she's preaching. It's just
But
it's
she did.
but she
I did
did. Right.
listen to her podcast in like 2020 because I wanted to hear what it's all about. Um, and yeah, it was originally it was just this very raunchy, very
Mhm,
I don't
mhm.
know. like fully like sexual podcast. And she had this co-host back then, Sophia, I
Sophia.
think.
I liked Sophia.
Yeah. Honestly, it was still, so even though it was a very crude and raunchy podcast, it had some smart aspects. Like it was done cleverly in a way. It's
They
not
were
my type of
cute
thing,
together. They
but
were
I can
fun.
appreciate it for what it is.
Mhm.
Yeah. And now it's just now it's just so boring. She's
Now
not a good podcast host.
it seems like, because I know Alex Cooper, she's just trying to get the viral clip, she's just trying to get, but it seems like she's having on celebrities, and she's basically turning into Howard Stern, where it's just she's having on
Yeah.
the most famous guest she can have, and she's going, "So, Halle Bieber, tell me about your sex with Justin," and she's, like, visibly uncomfortable, it's like, but that's all
Yeah.
she's just trying to squeeze a viral clip out of all her
Yeah.
guests. So here is a tweet from Kino, Call Her Daddy host Alex Cooper advises women to stop worrying and giving the wrong impression on first dates and to bang their date to avoid wasting time. Let's go. Well, this is a long clip. We'll play some of it.
I've had so many dates where like I had great first date kisses and I was like, oh my God, I'm never calling you. But
I also hate that she's always wearing a big dumb sweatshirt. It's like you are clearly a millionaire. You do not need to look like a chic homeless woman. I hate this. Maybe it's a Gen Z trend of
It's
just
called
wearing
quiet
sweat.
luxury. I don't know.
She looks like it's like you clearly did not just roll out of bed because you slicked back your hair and put on a ton of bronzer. So just put on an actual shirt, Alex.
oh, who doesn't love a makeout? Like makeouts are so fun. Okay. And so kiss them the first date, fucking sleep
No.
with them the first night. Like I don't care. You have to go based on what feels good to your body and what
That's
feels
your
right to you.
hobby?
Yeah, so ignore your brain, just follow lust to whatever natural conclusion. I think that can actually screw things up. Like that was one of the
What is
things.
so fun about that? What is fun about making out without actually liking the person? And
Yeah,
already in your head, you're like, I'm never gonna call you again. I don't like, what kind of hobby is that?
exactly.
You. And so if you have some fucking friends that are prudes that are like, you should never kiss on the first date. You're going to give them the wrong impression and they're just going to think you're a whore. Okay, maybe for you, Cassandra, but I'm about to let him in my back door all night.
Ew.
You don't
Alright.
have to do anal.
No, you should not be nonchalant about anal. That requires, from what I've heard, a lot of prep. You have to eat or not eat certain food. This is not like a casual you and
I mean, yeah, she's joking about it. So yeah, I get that she's kind of joking about it, but it's still like the entire idea of it is extremely. You have to look at also at the reality that she's in a very privileged bubble. First
Oh,
of
yeah.
all, she's very attractive. She's like very conventionally attractive, and she's
Mhm.
going to be in a bubble of like she has been her entire life in very elitist circles. She had a lot of like athletes were her exes. These are typically not the dangerous men, right? But the average woman is not going to be in an environment where
Yeah,
you can just make out with all these men and
see
expect
what
that it's going
happens.
to go well for you.
Right, right. You're so
In
right.
these very privileged circles, you are not going to have these extremely rich guys typically like raping you.
Right.
It's
They're
just
probably
a
not
lot less
gonna
common.
drug
So
you.
she's in a very safe environment too with men, with like white men, white athletes,
Yes.
rich.
What a good point.
And I do, but you could. Whatever feels right. You have to be at your core centered with what feels right to you and your body and what you want to do. And if you want to fuck or you want to make out, or how about this? If you don't want to kiss on the first date and that is your MO, great. But don't just be like Googling, like, what to do on first date? No kissing. Got it. Check. No. If
But
a
if you have a ton
man
of
is going to
regrets
treat you,
afterwards, then don't blame her.
It's so funny, like, there's all these books behind her, but, like, has she there it's clearly just the set. They're just fake books glued together. These aren't, like, any of her own.
you like a piece of shit and isn't going to call you, he's not going to treat you like a piece of shit just because you fucked him or made out with him on the first night. A man knows, okay? And guess what? Stop giving all the man the power, and so should you. Maybe make out with him so you stop
Giving
wasting your
men the
time.
power.
What if
Stop giving men the power is insane because the majority of men will be glad that they just get to fuck you.
Or, you know, go
They
on
will
a
not
date with
they
you.
will not want to stay with you. Like if you're looking for true love, then probably bad advice, but yeah.
It's full of bad advice.
Little Robbie has got a fucking tonguer that hits the back of your esophagus and you hate the way he makes out. Or what if like small lipped Sammy is like barely gets a little tongue in there and you're like, I can't even fucking find, we're just hitting teeth. You're probably not going to want to fuck Sammy. But
And
good
you have to figure that
Not
out on the first date.
Wait, what'd you say?
You have to figure that out on the first date.
Yeah, of course you don't need to figure out on the first date. You could like, I don't know, have a conversation first, see if there's a vibe or chemistry, and then guess what? You don't have to bother with the physical stuff because you know you can rule the person out if you don't connect.
On the first date. We're maximizing our time, people. You want to not have a 2-hour date? I'd rather have a 4-hour date, quick makeout, know he's not the one, never see him again, so I can then optimize my time to not have a second date with small lip Sammy.
Wow, so
What
efficient.
are you thinking? Okay.
She's so efficient.
That's the industry. It's a whole industry.
Thinking this way. Your friends in long-term relationships, I would be begging to relive that night with Matt. Oh, push me up against the wall. Sometimes they do. Let's pretend it's our first date, okay? You have the power. You as a single woman have the power to be completely having these romantic nights. And guess what? Even if he's not that romantic, make it fucking romantic for yourself. Literally believe that it was romantic.
What?
No, you can't. That's the problem.
What?
She is telling these girls to gaslight themselves into thinking that it's all this romantic shit, which is it's not, and you cannot trick yourself into thinking that. You cannot lie to yourself. It's going to cause this cognitive dissonance where you will get extremely depressed because you realize one day, wow, I wasted my entire time just hanging out with these men, all these situationships. None of it is fulfilling.
It takes a toll on your soul, and Alex here is basically advising women, like, even if it was a terrible interaction, and you actually regret giving it up, you know, just tell yourself it was romantic and tell yourself that was you taking the power back, not you actually giving into peer pressure and propaganda. And
this is basically, I don't know how I come up with this comparison right now, but this is basically like saying, if you want a burger, why don't you just eat like 10 pounds of lettuce because it has the same calories.
Right. That never works. Wow.
It doesn't work.
I don't fully understand like how she has become like the number one podcaster, like so popular. I don't know, maybe this is just Gen Z.
I've had so many dates where like I
do understand. Because like women are also drawn to what is it called? Shades of Grey and this kind of fantasy stuff. But a lot of women are not going to actually implement it, but they will fantasize about it. And then this will be their expectations, which will skew their expectations of dating and the like romantic world entirely and dating world. It's honestly, in my opinion, it's as bad as porn for men. You don't have to argue about porn. It doesn't.
It is.
Like, I don't
women
care
are
much,
less
but it has a very similar effect. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because for women, like also for women, there's also such a thing as emotional cheating in relationships, and then women are so sanctimonious about like I'm not actually cheating.
Oh,
because
like
for men, everything is all in their heads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'll be mad about that for a while because it's emotional. Okay, friendly slumlord.
Yeah, women need to learn facing consequences again, and a lot of our society is just catering to women. Because that's what men do too. Like that's kind of how we're evolutionarily set up. We have to trust women, and women are always the soft ones.
No, we should not be in charge of jack shit. Friendly slumlord says eliminating birth control would make women a lot more racist. True. What's wrong with that? Realistic. No more mud sharking would absolutely heal the world. Well, yeah, I mean that, but maybe also because it just focuses you to make the absolute best choice you possibly can. Like who you should not be, and I know this now as an elderly woman, but like you should not be having sex with anybody you do not want to start a family with. Like if you are not okay with having a kid with this person, don't have sex with them. And it's like if you're not okay having a kid with them, you probably shouldn't be on a date with them or dating them for months or years with like no goal in sight.
Yeah.
Let me check the chat. A couple more. Sam, what's up, Sam? What's her favorite German candy, cookie, or gummy? Okay, Sam here sends me a lot of German gummies. and Haribo stuff, and God, I've
Good
tried.
question. Probably some of the Ferrero or Kinder stuff. Let me
Mhm.
think. Bueno is pretty nice. You
Yep.
might know them. There's something called Choco Fresh.
Yes!
They used to have a different name. They used to be called Hippo. You know them?
Yes, Sam has
Excellent.
sent me all this
These
stuff.
are my favorites.
I've eaten all of it at this point.
The
Uh,
Choco Fresh ones were my favorites growing up, I think.
oh, wow.
Oh, let me get into I cannot even say that on stream, but so they are called Dick Months now, which is
Dick
bad enough.
what?
No, it gets worse. They are called that now because the original word was too offensive.
Wait, they're called
I
Dick
grew up
what?
calling them this.
Okay.
I'm building up the tension here. So N-word kiss. That's the original name. Look
Oh
it
my
up.
god, that's great. That's
Look
hilarious.
it up. They are these
That's gonna ruin my search history, Naomi. I'm not Googling that.
oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I'm gonna say N-word kiss candy.
You'll probably find the original.
Let's see. Yeah, it's literally translated to Negro kiss or N-word kiss.
Yeah. This
Uh,
is what I called them growing up.
and
Genuinely, as a
these are
child.
chocolate covered marshmallows. Sounds amazing.
Yeah,
Um,
they're pretty good.
Neg
They have a little bit of a different consistency from normal marshmallows because they are softer. It's kind of
neg
like a mix between a marshmallow fluff probably in America.
Ooh, Negerkuss or
Yes.
Kopf.
Yeah, the latter one is more old fashioned. I think I never called them that.
All right, Sam, you know what to do. Find
I
me.
ate them growing up, so I
You
didn't have
don't
any
miss
negative
them?
associations with them. Nobody told us that it was racist until much later.
There's like a version of this in Germany, the Netherlands, Finland. The Finnish
Yeah.
version was renamed Brunberg's Kisses. Boo in 2020, which is seems late.
So sensitive. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, Sam, find me these N-word kisses and send them to me. I will also look for them.
Yeah.
That's so funny. Oh my gosh, let me make sure I didn't miss any more super chats in the chat here. Okay. Row House, what is Naomi's view of Martin Sellner? Isn't he a big name in on Austria's naughty list? He discusses remigration.
Very good friend of mine. Massive shout
Oh,
out to Martin Zellner. I have been friends with him since 2016, I think. So for a very long time. And his wife, Brittany Zellner, was the very first American, she Canadian American, I don't know, English speaking person who ever had me on for an interview.
wow.
Um, so yeah, she was a great connection for me to the American sphere, and I love both of them. Martin has been he's probably the most controversial, most banned European creator, like full stop. And
Wow.
he's not even because he's like in America you would think, oh, he must be like a Nazi, like an anti-Semite. He is not the European Nick Fuentes, which is crazy. Like he actually used to have a more pro-Israel stance. Now he's more like okay, against foreign interventionism altogether. But he was never considered anti-Semitic. He is okay. This is crazy. You probably don't know this in America or most Americans. He is the original inventor of the term remigration. Not
Cool.
original. Obviously, the term already existed historically, but he made it popular again. In I think 2015, 16, he wrote a book with a title Remigration. Highly recommend. I believe it's probably international at this point. So he's the person who made it famous, who made it popular. And then the AFD took the term, and now the AFD is constantly being pressured into distancing themselves from Martin Zellner.
Wow.
He is the leader, I think, or one of the major leaders or the founder of the identitarian movement in Austria, which is also highly controversial. But yeah, a big fan of Martin Zellner. He's a very good friend.
How cool. I was just gonna ask you, who would you compare him to in like American politics or like influencer types?
Hard to say. Yeah, because like I said, he's not the like Nick Fuentes of Europe, and who can we compare him to? I don't know. It's difficult to say. He's very intelligent. He's dangerously intelligent. That's
But is he 157 IQ intelligent?
I don't know what his IQ is, but he is very intelligent. He's very intelligent. Otherwise, he wouldn't have made it this far.
That's true.
Like, to put up with so much opposition takes a lot. And yeah, he knows a lot about history and culture. He's definitely way above average intelligent. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's why he was put on all the intelligence watch lists too.
Very, very cool.
But
Oh
he's
my
not this kind of populist guy where you would just think, oh yeah, he just uses a bunch of rage bait and is just an edgelord or something.
Yeah,
No, he's just genuinely dangerously intelligent, and that's why he was put on all these watch lists.
Yeah, I don't see you being
he
friends
can hold
with
a conversation.
somebody like
He's very smart.
you're a quality over quantity gal. I love that. Oh my gosh, Naomi, I'm such a fan. The chat is such a fan of you. Everyone is smitten. Everyone's
Thank you very
impressed.
much. Yeah, somebody just mentioned Eva Vladingerberg is good too. Yeah, Eva is another
Yes.
friend of mine. She's wonderful. Like, in my opinion, the most beautiful person on this planet.
She's
And
good
for a long time, I didn't have any major personal connection to her. We follow each other, but we didn't have any personal relationship. And then I met her in 2024, and I can report that she's just as kind and intelligent in person as she is on social media. She's one of those very few people where there are no major scandals about her, as far as I know. And she's just genuinely she gets along with everybody, and
I think she's
great
married,
person.
isn't she?
Yeah, she's married.
That
And she
helps.
told me their love story too. They just fell in love instantly, and then they got married. He proposed within weeks, and they got married within months, and then they had a baby, and they are still so in love. And it's such a real, genuine love that they have for each other. They are a match made in heaven. So
Oh,
I'm very
I
happy for
love
them.
that. Okay, couple
Yeah,
more chats.
great husband too.
Oh my gosh, but being married helps you not have controversy. Aaron James, Miss Naomi, you are fascinating and your story is truly inspirational. What are your immediate goals? How can your supporters best help you?
I think my light just gave up.
No, it's
So
not.
we don't have a light anymore. Let me see if I can
My
maybe use my
God.
flashlight on my phone. Okay, that kind of works.
Where can people send you money for a light?
I have a light. It just gave up the battery. My immediate goals. Honestly, right now I'm waiting for the war to pass, and I feel like I'm currently just following what's going on and waiting for also the midterms. I want to see where politics is taking us right now. I want to see that the German American relationship improves and stabilizes, because right now there's so much tension between Europe and America, and there's not much progress that we can make right now. So we're all stalling a bit, and right now I feel very powerless. To be honest, I feel like a lot is out of our control, and we need to wait for higher powers to. By higher powers, I don't mean like spiritually. I mean more like in politics. There's a lot that we don't have an impact on right now. But I see people, even among the American, let's say, influencers, some of which have a lot of integrity, that do have an impact, and that makes me hopeful. I'm not losing hope. I'm not distraught at all. I just see that right now there's not much that I can do personally. And long term, my goal would be, I do want to set up. I have the chance to get a podcast studio here in DC. I don't want to launch my own podcast because there's just already so many out there. But to have an opportunity to speak to individual people, maybe an interview with JD Vance, for example, and then address some of the things that I mentioned in the beginning about Angela Merkel, for example. So I do have some plans with that. But there is a time and place for everything, and right now is not the time, because right now too much is going on. But eventually that would be a plan.
I would say do not use the excuse of there are too many podcasts out in the world, because like you specifically having a podcast does not exist in the world. And I can tell you right now, like just from talking to you for a couple hours in the chat, like you have so much to offer, your journey, your experience, like just how your mind works, you should absolutely do a podcast. And even if you're just
Thank you.
interviewing
I
people,
appreciate that.
once in a while, don't ever tell yourself like, oh, because I told myself that at the beginning too. Like, because I was like, well, so many stand-up comedians have a podcast, and then it ended up being something completely different from like the
Yeah.
typical stand-up comedian podcast. So you should definitely do it whenever you're feeling like you would be able to. And this is a good question. Yeah, how can your supporters help you, follow you, all that good stuff?
You can follow me on X, which is my only platform these days. I just launched some merchandise. I haven't quite announced it yet. It's been kind of like a side hobby because this company Unwoked, you will be able to spell it Unwoked. They reached out to me and we designed some merchandise together. So we got a shirt that says Remigration Alliance, which has a logo of the American White House and Germany's Brandenburger Tor, in Berlin, kind of like merged together. So you can see that one, and then we have one that says "Destroy the woke mind virus." Yes, you found it correct. And then so this is the Unwoked website, and then you will be okay.
How
You found it.
cute! You're a little
And
anime
then you have one
girl.
that says hate speech is free speech. I have a lot more ideas that I want to implement, and it's just pretty simple to put out because they are pay to order. I believe that it should be able to order them even to America. It might take some more time. So I just wanted to mention that. It's not like a major thing. I don't even intend to make money with it. It was just kind of like a cool creative idea. Other than that, just follow me on Twitter, X, under Naomi Seibt, Seibt. And that's it.
I love it. Okay, one more from Thanos Jerry. To see with wild eye. Oh, this poetry. To see with wild eyes, all the world does give with full surprise. Moments locked in time, not able to relive them. The only crime, days and night pass through a heart. Memories find their part home to. I don't know what the hell you're talking about, Thanos Jerry, but that was beautiful. All right, let me make sure. And one more from Corporate Duck. Me and my family got stationed in Germany for 3 years in Ansbach. Ansbach. Our favorite spot was Rothenburg.
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 Rothenburg ob der Tauber.
Hope the best for Germany.
Thank you very much.
What the heck did he
I do
just
too,
say?
which is actually, it's so beautiful to see how many Americans wish the best for Germany. And so many Americans are just so excited when they find out I'm German. They tell me about their family history with Germany. In Germany, we are raised to think that everybody hates us, and especially Americans. We are very isolated from America. So I'm glad to see that so many Germans are now being represented on X, are now using X, and are now connecting with Americans, and they love it so much. Like, Germans are so excited every time that an American mentions Germany or German culture, and we're all like, wow, I thought you hated us.
No, we love that's how I know
nice.
I'm German, because I assume everyone hates me too. So everyone listening, follow a German today on Twitter. Follow 5 German.
Follow a German today. Do some charity work and follow a German.
That should be a t-shirt slogan. Naomi, thank you
Yeah,
so
this is like adopt an African child.
For 65 cents a day, you can follow a German.
Yes, you can even do it for free.
Everyone follow Naomi. Thank you so much for your time. You're just the best. You're so impressive on every level. You're only 25. You have such a good head on your shoulders.
Thank you. I also love cooking, by the way.
And you love cooking. You should do it.
Personally, I do not tolerate like the majority of foods anymore. I love cooking for others. So I'm even thinking like maybe there is a way to connect with the Maha movement and with RFK Jr.
Oh, yeah.
And then, so we actually have a very strong fitness culture and nutrition culture in Germany, and kind of like unite with the Maha movement and then establish something maybe like a cooking show, or like just spread some German recipes, because I know Americans love German food.
We do.
So maybe that's something that we could unite over.
Maybe
that's something like
we need more
a long-term goal for myself that's a little less politics, but still very valuable.
I love that so much for you. We're gonna do that. You're gonna get a cooking show with RFK. I can see it now. I'm gonna pray about it. Everyone follow Naomi. Do it now. Buy one of her shirts. Thank you so much for coming on, Naomi. Everyone loves you. You're just the best. And thank you for my gosh, 2 hours. It flew by. I'm just
Thank
obsessed with
you.
you.
I really enjoyed it. I'm so sorry that it took so long for us to
No,
figure out
it's
how to
okay.
use Rumble.
It's not our
But we did
fault.
it. I'm
We're
glad we
women.
did it.
Things are hard.
Yes.
And
Yes.
yeah, we're gonna be friends now. I hope that's okay with you. And
Oh,
yeah,
100%. Yes,
thanks
reach out
everybody.
anytime.
Thanks everybody for watching. All right, we'll see you guys next time. Bye.